And we begin here on KGW News at 5 o'clock with a rescue mission on Mount Hood. Crews searching for a missing snowboarder who never returned from a day at Mount Hood Meadows. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Molko. The snowboarder is Ryan Mather. He is a 30-year-old from the Aloha area, and this is a rescue operation that is growing in both size and urgency. Let's bring in Mike Benner now from Government Camp. Mike, bring us up to speed here.
Yeah, David, you just hinted at it. This is quite the search and rescue operation. We have searchers from Lane and Deschutes counties, as well as Craig Rats and Portland Mountain Rescue. That's just to name a few. And they're looking for Ryan Mather. He is a very experienced snowboarder. In fact, at one point, he may have been an instructor in the Utah area. And this experience will work in his favor if he is injured or lost and hunkered down somewhere, which is what search crews are hoping for. As beautiful as Mount Hood is, especially on a sunny midweek day, it can be just as dangerous. A sobering reminder of that is the command post set up in the parking lot of Hood River Meadows, and the helicopter flying overhead.
You can see the helicopter running grids up and down and looking at it. Hopefully they'll find something.
Hopefully they'll find any sign of Ryan Mather of Aloha. The 30-year-old went to Mount Hood Meadows Tuesday to snowboard, but he never returned home. His girlfriend contacted authorities around 9:30 Tuesday night.
Our personnel were able to locate his vehicle on Mount Hood Meadows property, and search ensued immediately thereafter.
Hood River County Sheriff Matt English says an overnight search turned up nothing. But by Wednesday morning, the sheriff says several dozen searchers had joined the operation, a reason for optimism. The sheriff says search teams would focus on the area surrounding the Shooting Star Express chairlift, Mather's last reported location.
Conditions right now are really good for searching, but the concern is there's a high risk of avalanche this afternoon as it warms up.
Another concern, overnight temperatures. We're told they were in the mid to upper teens. Not ideal. What Mather does have going for him, according to authorities, is his familiarity with the mountain.
It sounds like he is a very experienced snowboarder. So we're hoping, he can use that outdoor skill, his skill level.
A sentiment echoed by everyone who spent Wednesday on Mount Hood, the site of a search for a missing snowboarder.
I hope for a good outcome. Let's hope that individual can make it through this.
Yeah, and we are certainly hoping for the very same thing. In the meantime, the sheriff says that if crews are not able to locate Ryan Mather today, there will be additional searches, though the timing of those operations will depend on the forecast. Laurel.
We're all holding out a good thought. Thank you, Mike. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino now. Matt, we heard about some of the concerns there. Tell us more about the weather and search conditions on the mountain.
Well, the good news is the weather is going to be a lot warmer tonight compared to last night, and the clear sky that we are enjoying right now around Western Oregon will continue as well. At 6,000 feet, it's 34 degrees. Now, yes, that sounds cold, and if you're down in the valley, that's cold, but for up in the mountains, it's not that bad for the searchers, and the fact that there's very light winds also is good. The clear sky tonight is good. No additional snowfall through the day tomorrow and really even tomorrow night. So in that regard, conditions are really good. But you did hear the sheriff there talk about the avalanche conditions. There's been 20 inches of new snow over around Mount Hood Meadows in the last few days. And with the warm spring sun working on that snowpack, it is ripe for afternoon slides, and those can be really, really dangerous as well. But barring that and other terrain traps that a skier or a snowboarder could find themselves in, be it a tree well or just some little kind of rollover, conditions are pretty good. Last night it was in the teens, again, that 20 inches of new snow, but tonight a lot warmer, in the 30s with light winds, so that's good news. And tomorrow warm, 50s and 60s, which should also be good news, at least not hinder the search efforts. Back to you.
Glad we still have some good daylight left. Thank you, Matt. Well, if you were anywhere near Gresham today, there is a good chance you noticed lots of flames and smoke because this was the source of fire on Sundial Road that broke out just after 11 this morning at a BPA substation. That made things more than a little tricky for firefighters. They had to wait for the power to be shut down before they could put out the flames. No word yet on the cause.
The trial of a romance novelist accused of murdering her husband continued today, with testimony from the victim's mother. Nancy Brophy is accused of shooting and killing her husband Daniel back in June of 2018. He was a professor at the Oregon Culinary Institute. Our Bryant Clerkley has been following this trial for us. Bryant, what did the mother have to say today?
Hey, Laurel, Karen Brophy spoke about the morning she found out her son had been shot and killed. She kept getting calls from Nancy about a shooting at the Culinary Institute. Karen said that she was the one that suggested Nancy go down to the school to see if everything was all right with her husband.
You know, after she said that, I don't remember if there was any more conversation. I was absolutely devastated.
Karen Brophy is speaking about the day she found out her son Daniel had been shot and killed at the Oregon Culinary Institute, where he worked as an instructor. His wife Nancy is on trial for his murder. Karen told jurors about getting phone calls from her daughter-in-law.
I said, "Oh, Nancy," and I was crying, and she did cry.
After she told you?
Karen Brophy then spoke about not being able to go down to the crime scene with her husband.
Do you recall any conversation that you had with Jack Brophy as to why he would go as opposed to you or both of you?
I'm not proud of the fact that I felt like I couldn't go.
Karen Brophy also told jurors that Nancy did not want to go to the crime scene at first.
I said to her, "Well, are you going to go down there?" And she said, "No, I'm not going to go because there'd just be a lot of policemen there and a lot of cars. I'm not going to go."
Jurors also heard from a friend of the Brophies on Wednesday. Maxine Borcherding worked with Dan Brophy and was good friends with Nancy. She said she never heard Nancy say anything bad about her husband. She told jurors she called Nancy the morning of the murder and asked if she heard from her husband Dan.
So I called her on her cell phone. And I explained what had happened and asked her if she'd heard anything. And she said, she kind of laughed and she said, "No, you know Dan. He would never call me. I'd have to wait until he came home to find out what happened."
And tomorrow we're expecting to hear more testimony from Karen Brophy and her husband Jack. And this trial is expected to last for several more weeks. Laurel?
Thank you, Bryant. The sheriff of Columbia County was revealed as one of the officers who shot at a suspect in Scappoose, killing him. Investigators say the man fired at police first. This was at Grumpy's Towing off Highway 30 last Thursday. Now the major crimes team investigating says Sheriff Brian Pixley and Oregon State Police Sergeant Chad Drew both fired their guns. Police say the man shot dead, Michael Stockton, was involved in some sort of disturbance at the tow yard, and he was also wanted as a suspect for murder in Gresham.
Okay, let us brighten it up now. It is time to make your Rose Festival plans. Yes, the iconic parades are coming back after 2 years on hold. Though we have to tell you, there are going to be some big changes here.
Different parades will be kept to separate parts of town this time. Galen Etlin's outside our downtown studios with details. Galen, even with changes, it's going to be great to have these parades back.
Yes, especially in weather like this, right, Laurel, David? Now, the big change that we're talking about for the first time since the 1940s, the Grand Floral Parade is going to stay on the east side of town only and not come through here in downtown. But organizers do say there will be some balance through all of this. Here's the routes that you can see. The Starlight Parade, for example, will remain downtown, while the Grand Floral, as I mentioned, will be on the east side, specifically in the Lloyd District. Organizers say they worked with the city and came up with these shorter routes because of safety reasons and limited police resources. Businesses in downtown will get some boost from the Starlight Parade, but miss out on the Grand Floral action.
Yes, I'm sort of split on it, really. That some of it seems like it's going to be really good, bring a lot of people down, but then again, it's only for one day.
Now, some other parade events around town will not be coming back yet just this year. For example, the St. John's Parade and the 82nd Avenue of Roses Parade. But festival organizers with the Rose Fest say that they are working with those groups to try to incorporate them somehow. In the meantime, the Rose Fest is scheduled for June, and we've got more information on KGW.com. Back to you.